programme concentrates.
Good evening and welcome once again to Flying Start. This year we're giving away over £250,000 to small businesses in the Northwest, and that's the largest amount by far on any British TV programme. And the aim behind Flying Start is to create what the region needs most really, and that is jobs. The prize fund is bigger, so is the competition. Throughout the year we're running a series of county competitions which will culminate in a Best of the Northwest final in December and a £30,000 top prize. Now, we have, of course, already had the Merseyside competition. Now it's the turn of Lancashire. And for the next 6 weeks, 20 small businesses will compete for the Lancashire prize of £10,000 and a place alongside our Merseyside champions, David Cakes of Distinction, in that grand final. Tonight, in the first heat, a boat builder, a communications engineer, a kitchen manufacturer, and a computer software designer are competing for a place in the Lancashire final. And remember, our judges are looking most of all for the potential to expand, because that's what's most important. It means the creation of jobs. So let's meet the judges. Our regular Lancashire team are led by business consultant Wilf Jones. Alongside Wilf, David Taylor, Managing Director of Lancashire Enterprises Limited, our main sponsor this time. And from the Arthur Young Business Services Group, our accountant, Mike Davis. Well, that's the regular team, and they're joined by tonight's guest judge, Clive Jeans, Managing Director of the multinational textile firm Milliken Industrials. So, now let's get the competition underway and invite Stephen Holden to take his place in the hot seat, please. Steve and his partner are based in Blackpool, so maybe it was all those paddling infants and wallowing airbeds that gave them the idea for a more enjoyable way of staying afloat.
Despite the British summer, a great many people take an active interest in water sports. It's to capture this market that ABS Enterprises have developed a motorised watercraft called the Aquabike. This is a 9-foot-long fiberglass hulled boat designed to be launched by 2 people. The Aquabike can be fitted with an outboard motor from 10 to 25 horsepower. The hull is manufactured by the company. The boat is built to give stability in the water, and the handlebar steering and throttle are designed to enable the Aquabike to turn on a sixpence. As well as being able to carry 2 adults, with a 15-horsepower engine, the Aquabike can also tow a skier. ABS Enterprises manufacture and sell a trailer for transporting the Aquabike and will shortly be moving to new premises in Fleetwood. There are currently 2 people in the company, but they hope to increase the workforce to 8 over the next 2 years.
Now, it's very important to remember that this programme is really just the tip of a pretty big iceberg, because the judges have spent weeks now visiting each company, going through their books with a fine-tooth comb and interviewing the contestants not just once but several times. So what you're going to see now is really just the final few questions. And we'll start with Wilf Jones.
Stephen, it's a super product, but how far has it got towards development? Have you finished the development and is it ready for the marketplace?
Yes, it's ready for the market.
So based on that, then what firm orders have you got at the moment?
We've got 22 orders,
Yeah.
but we've got 5 deposits. So I only class them as deposits, or, you know,
What's the
it's a sale.
What's the export potential for this product?
Extremely good. We've had a terrific response from abroad. We've got an agent overseas, and it's a terrific. It's just beyond, you know, beyond us really. The response.
Okay, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Steve.
I'll butt in there if I may and come to David Taylor for his questions for Steve Holden.
Stephen, the product is good. Will's already said that, but the product itself is not enough. I'd like to know how much money you've actually allocated towards the marketing and the promotion of the product.
We've got a marketing company working with us, and what we'll do on every sale of the boat, we'll pay them.
You pay them a specific fee. And in addition to that, publicity material, things of that nature?
Yes.
In addition to that?
Yeah.
Right. The second point I'd like to ask you about, when we discussed this in the judging stages with you, you mentioned bank finance and you seemed very worried about it. Have you considered other different types of finance apart from the bank?
Yes, yes. We'll approach the EEC because we're based in Fleetwood and also the Rosewood.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, David. Can I move on to our guest judge, Clive Jeans, for his questions?
Yes, Stephen, how fast can you build up production once orders start to come in?
We do need 2 new moulds. Of course, the money would go towards this, and we'd be well on with our, projected sales. And we intend to make at least 75 boats in year 2, but that has actually come forward now because we've actually got these sales.
All right. And you mentioned exports just now. How will you physically ship these products to overseas countries?
We have an exporter, an overseas agent. He'll take care of all that for us.
You'll just pack them on site?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Clive. I'm glad you're not going to sail them across to wherever they're going. Mike Davis, can you ask your questions?
Yes,
now,
Stephen, given the sales potential you see, how much finance do you think you're going to require for the business over the next 2 years?
About £10,000.
And how are you going about finding this? What is the sort of time scale to finding it, to doing your business plan?
We do desperately need the money now.
But how are you going to go about it? How are you going to progress towards getting it? Are you going to do a plan?
Yes, we've done a plan which you've got, but we feel that's outdated with the amount of interest that has been shown in it.
Fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. So, questions over. Now we come to the scoring. Now, each of the judges can award up to 250 points to each contestant, and every point is worth £1, and the contestants take those pounds away with them whether they win or lose. But of course the winner will be coming back in 5 weeks' time for the Lancashire final. So we'll come to the scores, starting with yours first, Wolf, please.
195. I've said I like the product, and I do. I'm a little concerned about the business skills that are necessary to bring this particular product to its full potential. I think there's a skill shortage there in business side.
Thank you very much, Wolf. David Taylor, your points.
I'd award 200 on condition that you spend the 200 when you get it on marketing and publicity, because I think that's really your biggest need at the moment. Good product, but I think you've got an awful lot to do to establish it as a business.
That's a nice 200. Clive, can we have your points, please?
170. I think this is potentially a very exciting product, but I do feel that both the marketing and the production plans will need a lot of attention.
Thank you, Clive. So that gives us 565 points. Let's see what Mike Davis adds to that.
180. I think it's very important that you produce a clear, comprehensive and updated business plan. I think it'll help you get your thoughts straight for starting the business and for obtaining the finance.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, judges. So that makes a grand total for Steve Holden of £745. So now we go on to contestant number 2. David Knight, will you take your place in the hot seat, please? Someone somewhere, they used to tell us, is waiting to hear from you. The trouble is British Telecom is waiting to be paid for the call, and that is where Corrie Communications comes into the picture.
Corrie Communications have developed a device to cost telephone calls as they're made. A telephone bill has the number of units used and the charge for each unit on it. This device has a pickup coil which winds round the telephone wire and literally picks up the pulses or units that British Telecom send down the line during the phone call to cost it.
Here is the British Telecom weather line forecast for Wales.
Once the unit charge is entered into the device, the Corrie call logger will display the cost of the call as it's made. At the end of the call, the machine is reset and the charge automatically goes into the memory store. If you need to make long-distance calls to the United States, for example...
Good morning. The New York temperature is 63 degrees.
Units are used at a much faster rate, so the display counter reflects this. The memory can total all calls to help assess quarterly bills. Company employ 1 person at present, but hope to employ up to 10 in 2 years.
And now it's time for those last few questions for David Knight. This time we'll start with Mike Davis, please.
Yes, David, what stage has the product development reached, and what more do you have to do to get it to the market?
I've just got to finish off the software for the second model, and that should be finished by June. That's, when I say the software, that at the moment I've got 4 chips in the device. I'm going to do away with all those and mount 1 chip on 1 PCB. So that's the position at the
And then
moment.
it'll be ready for the market, tested?
It'll be ready to offer to the big wholesalers, the Dixons of the world and the Comets and so on.
Okay, and how far have you got in raising the finance for the project?
As far as I can take myself up to that stage, but I cannot, I'm going to struggle when it comes to raising funds for, well, I will personally struggle to raise funds to manufacture it. Then I'll have to do what you suggested, raise equity finance.
Thank you very much. Let me butt in there and come to David Taylor, please.
Fine. David, I first came across this nearly 3 years ago. I'm concerned that it's still a business project or a business idea rather than a potential business. Why has it taken so long?
Well, initially, obviously I had to put the idea from just an idea on paper into a product. I had to put it into a product. That took probably a year. It then took me another year to 18 months to take it through British Telecom approval. You know, I offered it to BT. It then had to go back again. So it's taken 2.5 years, and then it's taken me a while to find a chip which is capable of doing the job this one needs to do.
Fine, okay.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. And they do say soonest ripe, soonest rotten, don't they? Clive Jeans, your questions for him, please.
Yes, David, what plans have you made for distribution? Distribution, none at all, because I'm going to go straight to the major wholesalers, the Dixons, as I said, the Comets, and sell direct into them, initially.
Well, following up from that, what confidence have you that there will be purchasers for this product, and what sort of price are we looking at?
I'm looking at £39.50 to sell it at. I'm looking at, my confidence is expressed because it's been featured in various papers, and the response I've had from it has been superb.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Clive. And the last few questions for David Knight from Wilf Jones, please.
David, you claim an additional 10 jobs in 2 years.
Yes.
And yet most of your plans are based on subcontract work.
Yes.
How do you justify the extra jobs?
Well, I'm not going to when I say extra jobs, obviously I want to keep the number of jobs as small as possible to keep my overheads down. But my jobs will be as far as sales, marketing, finance, purchasing.
Fine. Now, you're presently employed full-time in an executive post
Yes,
with another company.
that's right.
When do you intend, or do you intend, to put your full efforts into this company, or don't you intend to do that?
When do I intend?
Okay, thank you very much indeed. So, now with 745, the score to beat, how much has David won, I wonder? Wilf, will you give us your points?
Yes, 170. I can't help thinking that this product needs a great deal more commitment from you, David. I think it's a good product, but I think it needs more commitment, which you're not giving it to succeed.
Thanks, Wilf. David, your scores for another David?
I give 180. My concern remains that on the jobs issue, that's my fundamental concern, but 180 will help you to pay for that call to America.
That's a bit healthier. Clive, yours?
175. I think this is technically a very interesting product, but I feel that a great deal has to be done to show that there really is a demand in the market for it.
Thank you. And finally, Mike Davis, can I have your points?
200. You've got experience in managing other companies, so I think you need to use that to complete the product, raise the finance and get the thing into production, but it's early days.
Great. Thank you all very much indeed. So you'll see that that gives a grand total for David Knight of £725. Right, and can we have Philip Mills down into the hot seat, please? Half the world these days seems to be built of melamine-faced chipboard, but Philip and his partner prefer to work in something more traditional and more enduring.
Craftsman Furniture specialise in luxury hardwood kitchens designed and fitted to the client's requirements. In the wood store, hardwoods like oak, ash, maple and mahogany are selected and cut to the kitchen design specifications. Craftsman Furniture have trained most of their workforce of cabinet makers and fitters in woodworking skills and techniques, and they claim a high-quality finish to all their products. The kitchens are constructed and assembled next door in the old mill workshop, ready for fitting in the customer's home. Besides a variety of styles from traditional to modern, all the kitchens are designed to incorporate a large range of accessories and decorative features. Craftsman was founded in 1982 and now have a showroom in Preston in addition to their factory showroom in Burnley. They currently employ 19 people and expect to add another 10 employees to the workforce within the next 2 years.
Now, sad to say, since we made that film, Craftsman Furniture has had a very major fire at their factory showroom at Burnley. Nevertheless, the company is determined to carry on, and it's in that context that our judges will be asking questions of Philip. So, Wilf, if you will start.
Now, Philip, what effect has, in fact, this fire had on your jobs and your sales and your growth prospects that you outlined to us?
The fire has totally destroyed the building and most of the machinery. So our initial problem was to find alternative premises as quickly as possible, to locate and purchase new machinery to replace the ones we've lost, and ensure that we keep the existing people that we have. We've done most of that. We've kept the people on. We've found new premises, although they're quite a bit larger than we expected.
When do you expect to start production again?
Production machinery should be moved in beginning of next week.
Good. And will these additional 10 jobs that you said you would make, is this still viable, these 10 jobs in 2 years?
I think so. I think it'll take us 6 to 12 months to get back to where we were.
Great, thank you. Let me butt in there. Very courageous. David Taylor, your questions.
Philip, I must say when we first looked at this, I for one was a bit sceptical because the kitchen business is absolutely ruthless and you tend to hear more about companies going under than starting up. I'd like you to tell us what it is that makes your service or product different from the others in a competitive market.
It is a very competitive market, and I think for that reason we chose to specialise, go for the upper end of the market and produce hardwood kitchens. Differences between us and other kitchen manufacturers is we manufacture and control the whole production. We manufacture our own doors, we even design in-house and employ our own installation people.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, David. Can I move to Clive now, please?
Yes, Philip, how far geographically do you feel you can spread in your business?
Our initial concept was to base the factory in Burnley with having satellite showrooms within a radius of perhaps 50 miles, which takes us then sales of perhaps 75 miles from the central factory.
Right. Now, has your order book dropped as a result of having a fire?
By one order, that's all. We had an order book of 120,000 prior to the fire. We've only lost one because the lady had to move into a new house. Every other customer we've contacted has said they've seen the kitchen they want and they're prepared to wait. So
nice, loyal customers, Philip. Thank you very much indeed. Mike Davis.
Yes, Philip, why have you now chosen to purchase premises rather than to rent them as you did before?
Well, from an economic point of view alone, renting was costing us something like 9,500. Buying the factory, which has considerably more space, something like 2.5 times what we were renting, over a 25-year mortgage, is only costing us about £1,000 more per annum.
Right. And given the opportunity of something of a new start, what changes would you make to the way you run the company, to the production, for instance?
Well, from the production, it's giving us the opportunity to learn by the mistakes we've made in the past and perhaps look at slightly different types of machinery because of the growth we've had.
Thanks very much, Mike. Well, with Steve Holden still hanging on to the lead, let's see if that's going to change with the scores from the judges, starting with Wilf.
Yes, 225. I see a good, well-established business, excellent team of people, and I'm confident that the jobs are there.
Nice fat start. David Taylor.
230 points. I think it's an excellent project. They've done extremely well to survive the problems, and I was particularly impressed by the fact that the entire workforce were committed to this project. Very impressed, a job creator.
Good. Thanks, David. Clive.
210. This is clearly an established and successful business, and I think the proven management track record gives me a lot of confidence that it will recover successfully from the setback.
Thank you, Clive. He's doing very well so far. Mike?
At 230, in coping with the fire disaster, I think you've proved you're good managers. You've got back into business very quickly, and I'm sure you'll make the business grow as quickly.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, very promising scores, and you'll see that they add up for Philip Mills to £895. So, Bill Cohen, will you come down, please, and take your turn in that hot seat there? We could all fancy a life where we were never too hot, never too cold, with enough food and plenty to drink. Well, Bill Cohen's firm aims to provide just that, but not, alas, for you and me.
Computers can do many things, even, would you believe, provide nursery care for all these lettuces. Golden Grow systems, with their computer-linked greenhouse sensors and monitors, aim to do precisely this. The company have developed a computer program to monitor and adjust the factors which control conditions inside the greenhouse. When the temperature drops, the computer causes the burners to fire, giving out heat and carbon dioxide, which helps plant growth. The computer program also monitors ventilation and operates the roof vents to allow fresh air in as it's needed. Golden Grow claim tight environmental control such as the system provides reduces the need to use pesticides on crops, as well as being energy saving. Each system comes with a service contract, and although the company only employs one at the moment, they hope to take on 4 employees in the next 2 years.
Oh, quite a high score to beat, but it could still happen. But first we come to the questions, starting with Mike.
Yes, Bill, is the product now fully developed and ready for the market?
The product that you've seen is now fully ready for the market and is available to anyone who needs it.
Fine. And what level of interest have you had so far from potential customers?
We have a very, very encouraging level of interest. At the moment, we're in a negotiating situation with 4 companies.
I see. And how close are any of those to being finalised?
I think that we shall have orders within the next 2 to 3 months.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Now it's David's turn.
Computers aren't famed for creating jobs, and I'm concerned that your employment projection seems to be very modest. Would you like to reassure us on that score?
I think that, that we will create the jobs and possibly more that we've actually indicated. I'm not sure just in the future how many people we will need, but certainly we'll create 4 and it could be up to 8.
Further concern I have is that only 10% of the market actually goes to British buyers in terms of the big multiples. Does this not mean that horticulture isn't really for high-tech? Are you selling to a backward market?
I think that we're selling to a very forward-looking market, and I think that the potential that exists for British growers will be fully exploited by the people who know how to exploit it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Confident answers to difficult questions. Clive, have you got some?
Bill, yes. What will a customer gain from the purchase of one of your packages? How soon should it pay for itself?
It's difficult to assess just exactly how soon it will pay for itself, but there are a good list of advantages that he'll gain, and I think the main one being that it will produce a quality product easier than it would do if it's done by existing manual controls.
All right. Now, going back again to numbers, can you really cover the market adequately with the very small numbers you're talking of having?
Yes, I think that we can cover it perfectly adequately. We may need to take on 1 or 2 more people, or we may allocate an agent perhaps in the south of England, and certainly when it comes to exports that we will appoint people to deal directly with their customers.
Okay. Clive, thank you. You're finished. And now the last few questions of this heat, which come from Wilf Jones.
Bill, how do you demonstrate this equipment? Because it looks a very difficult thing to demonstrate to customers. How do you do it?
Basically, the way that we've found most beneficial is to take the console and the keyboard and the program to the customer and put it in front of him and let him see exactly what he needs to do, exactly what it can give him, and how easy it is to operate compared with a goodly number of other systems.
Now, why should I buy my equipment from you? Well, you've no track record. Why should I buy it from you rather than get it from the well-known Dutch supplier of similar equipment?
We hope that our system will be somewhat cheaper than the existing Dutch systems, and also it's tailor-made to British requirements, and it's written in English, which makes it a lot more easy to understand.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Now then, Philip Mills nipped into the lead a few minutes ago. Will he be pipped at the post? We'll soon find out. Wilf Jones, can I have your points, please?
Yes, 190. I think it's a good startup. It has good potential. But I think Bill needs to put a lot more effort into marketing and the finance side of the business for the growth.
Thank you, Wolf. And your points, David?
170. I think the technology is very good indeed, but I'm concerned about the very modest number of jobs involved.
Which is what it's all about, of course. Clive?
190. I agree that technically it's an interesting product. I think the value of it is going to take a lot of selling to customers.
And Mike, can we, the last points from you, please?
210. I think it's a very interesting mix of skills, the computer and the horticultural. You're prepared to be realistic, but unfortunately the jobs aren't there, I don't think.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Mike. So, we look at the scoreboard and we see that Bill Cohen has earned himself £760. And indeed, now we know the answer, and you can see for yourself from the scoreboard that this week's winner with £895 is Philip Mills. So, congratulations, Philip. He, of course, will be coming back to take part in the Lancashire County Final on Friday the 5th of June. Join us next week for the second Lancashire Heat. Till then, good night.
Whip one or two.